Topo Athletic is committed to lifelong health and better movement. Topo builds running shoes for those who get out there every day, regardless of weather, speed, energy, or mood. Their distinctive fit and feel combines instinctive human movement with modern performance and lightweight comfort to help you keep going, keep trying, and keep moving. Discover the Topo difference and step into a run experience unlike any other.
Hey everybody, welcome to the 65th episode of our Fireside Chats. We are super excited to have Vincent Kluber, Coach Vince, joining us. He is up in Canada, so we're going international again today. So let's hope all of our connections work. And Om Gandhi, our other co-owner, has joined us just in time for part of our international campaign as I was introducing it, since we've got Vince coming in from Canada. So it'll be nice to have a whole bunch.
It's so funny. This would be a good a time as any to announce it, but I've switched over from the Android side to the Apple side, and it's so far it's been great because Jason invited me to the practice live, one go. He invited me to this, one go. There are no issues. So far so good, guys. I'm on the dark side.
And better yet, when we text each other, I don't get those ugly green bubbles. I get blue bubbles, so it makes it awesome to chat. Hey Vince, how are you, man?
Hello, not bad, you?
Not bad. Good to have you on. Appreciate you taking the time to chat with us.
I appreciate the opportunity. It's exciting to be talking to you, fellow athletes and community advocates.
Man, I don't know who's more excited, Om or myself, to have this conversation with you.
So stoked.
Like the being able to present the Steeltown Athletic Club under the club spotlight on our website was huge for us. Seeing what you guys post on Facebook and Instagram all the time resonates big time with us because we are in alignment with what you guys are doing up there in terms of, look, I'm going to be brash about it, breaking down the fucking gatekeeping barriers that people keep putting up. I don't like it. I can't stand it. I'm over it.
Appreciate it. No, and those are the exact words that I use. I have to tone it down a bit now that I'm a community face, but yeah, I feel the same vibes, my friends.
So tell us a little bit about who you are and the Steeltown Athletic Club, and then I want to get into why it's so important for you to be doing what you're doing.
So I'm Vincent Kluber, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, and I've been running since I came to Canada as an immigrant from Fiji, late 80s, 1980s, and even then facing barriers that were unrealized until I'm older, realized things were wrong. And the reason why Steeltown Athletic Club STAC exists is because I was done with dealing with all these obstacles that I had to jump through, or opportunities I had to look away from because it wasn't for me. So unfortunately, I didn't realize that until my 30s. I'm 41 now, but it really upset me because personally, I lost so much time and opportunity, and who knows what I could have done, right? So can't change the past. So what STAC is all about is welcoming anyone and everyone, especially from the BIPOC, queer, trans community. It's a safe space. We welcome, we advocate, we continuously reach out to BIPOC runners, whether they're road runners, trail runners, hikers, it doesn't matter. We want you to be aware of this space exists. We started this a little bit before the pandemic, and then pandemic came, and every time we had the opportunity to be outside in whatever capacity of groups, it was packed, because people were eager for community, right? And when we were able to gather with unlimited numbers, we were having 30, 40 people coming out to Monday, Tuesdays, Saturdays, Sundays. We filled up parking lots of malls. It was wild. As one time we're looking at the watch and it's it's 7:59. We should get going. And then we seen like a row of cars coming, like literally probably 20 cars, like filled with people. And where's my friend Martin and I, who helped create Stack, we're just looking at each other like, what are we gonna do? But it was a good problem, right? So we broke up into different pace packs, and we're called the Stack Pack, as in like the wolf pack mentality, where no one gets left behind. There's always someone in your group that you can look up to. There's no pressure of keeping up. There's no pressure of holding someone back. And the beautiful thing about it, as today, we're a nonprofit organization now and going in works of charitable status because of how this started, because it started because of racism, discrimination, and exclusion. And I'm not a fan of being put in the box unless I create the box, and that box is meant for everybody, right? And that's what Stack's about.
So you started the club a few years ago. How many members would you say you have? How many people are rotating through? Do you think you see?
We have a Facebook group where we kind of manage our weekly runs and communication and chatting. There's about 1,300 that's within the Hamilton Burlington area. And, you know, we started off with literally just me meeting up with people, and I was like, we'll see how this goes. You know, brown guy meeting up with, you don't know, meeting up at the bottom of the Wentworth stairs at, you know, it's the wintertime, so it's 6 o'clock dark. Let's go do some stair reps. You know what I mean? So it was the first couple of weeks, it was just me, right? It's all good. And you know, I go by the Steve Aoki mentality. He doesn't care if there's one person showing up to your concert. You treated that person like there are a million people in front of you, right? So
Incredible.
I kept up with that. And, you know, 1-2 people started showing up. They referred a friend. And then, again, lockdowns happened, but we kept the momentum going. I have a business mentality. I've been in business, sales, corporate, all that fun stuff for about 20 years.
Yeah.
And I just started applying all those skill sets to this. Just obviously minus the money, but, you know, it's customer service. It's understanding who your demographic is, who you want to work with. And I'm working with a demographic that is larger compared to people who are already in run groups and who are already runners. I'm working with who aren't runners, who don't know about the space. That's a 90% difference compared to the 10% who are already involved.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
And I just want to say, like, I just want to backtrack and say that, like, you know, you talked about starting in your 30s and about opportunity, and that resonated with me, and I'm sure it resonated with Jason, because both of us are late boomers in running too. I started when I was 25, and Jason, you started about like 15, 16 years ago.
Yeah, 34. I was 34 years old.
Yeah, so it resonated with that deeply. Was there any pivotal moment for you where you realized that this is something that you could do? And was there any moment where you realized, were there any steps or series of steps where you realized that you wanted to create Stack?
Yeah, I was a solo runner, you know, more or less, and I quit the whole sales corporate automotive industry and then wanted to become a personal trainer because I was doing the Spartan races back then. And, you know, that's a culture, right? That's a buy-in, and there's a large set of training components to that. So I was like, you know, I like this, I'm good at it. It's a huge community. Let me transfer my skills over here and be a personal trainer and all that, right? But I didn't know anyone in the run world, in the run community, because there were small groups kind of everywhere, right? So I was like, oh, let me try to network, let me try to join, let me try to meet people. A long story short, I was met with more, again, with discrimination and slander around me. Nothing to my face, but what had happened was some folks that had this brought to them didn't appreciate that. They heard, like, oh, okay, cool. And then they said, Vince, you're doing something to help more people get involved with running. What's existing right now is a close group of friends that run on a regular weekly schedule. There's nothing inclusive about it. You can say inclusive, you can say community. I find offense to those words now when someone uses it in the wrong ways, meaning, what are you doing? It's easy to say those words,
Yep.
but what are you actively doing to be inclusive? What are you actively doing to better the community? You know what I mean? It's a powerful meaning, and I've been doing this for a few years now, and if someone doesn't use those words in the correct way and backs it up with work, and because it's energy, you're trying to, it's an uphill battle, right? It's effort.
Yep.
And that's nothing that I shy away from, because that's all I've been doing all my life, is an uphill battle of anything I needed, anything I wanted,
Yeah.
even if it's a small piece of the pie, right? Trying to climb that corporate ladder, like there was no like hand on the shoulder, here, I got you. No, I fought from the bottom and got as high as I could, right? So having said that, like, I'm fighting for the 90% that who need to be on the trails, who need this to better their mental, physical health. I'm not a forgive and forget person, so, you know, even if there's an apology, which never happens, no one holds themselves accountable. Everyone just wants to just forget about it, right? It's just easier. Let's just move on. No, it doesn't work that way, especially this. You need to hold yourself accountable. Nobody does that. That's fine. I create my own space based on the complete opposite to what I experience in that community.
Man,
And now, yeah.
so you've touched on so many different things, like, you know, being a Puerto Rican kid that was born in New York City in the Bronx. Like, I didn't have that aunt, uncle, father, mother who could lead me down a path to say, go do this, this is your next step. Like, I was figuring it all out on my own, just like you. Made my way to the VP level of corporate America as well, you know, fighting to get to that, you know, piece of the pie like you. And starting this business 3 years ago is, you know, all of those things. And so when you say what you say, right, it brings pride, because I went through the same thing as you. And I think that's why we both, and Ohm is included in this, are part of this idea and concept and community, because we know that we can do it. And so we want to impart those words on others to show them that they can do it too. We have a mantra, right? Which is, I went through it, so you don't have to, is greater than I went through it, so you should too. Like, I think, to me, that's total BS. If I went through it and I could figure it out, and I can now help you to not go through it and get to the top faster, I want to do that. And what your words were saying there resonated big time with me in that mantra. So thank you for saying that. And thank you for doing what you were doing. I get emotional about this, because I don't think people really understand how important it is. Last week, we dropped our digital magazine. On the cover, we had Team Go Big, and Kyla Lupo, who is the coach of Team Go Big, on her t-shirt, on the front cover, it literally says, protect trans kids. And I loved the message, and that's why we chose it for the cover. And we got an email, as one would expect, right? Stop with this nonsense. You're a woke community and all of these things, right? I've been in the email went on to say that they've been part of a triathlon club for 40 years and they welcome everybody. And in my mind, I said exactly what you just said, which is, you could say that you're welcoming, but what are you doing to actually welcome the people? And if you're telling me that I'm too woke for you, then you're clearly not welcoming of everybody. And so I was nice and calm. I put the email down, and then I responded in a nice manner and unsubscribed them from the list like they asked me to. But how do you deal with that kind of stuff when that negativity keeps coming at you and pouring out at you? Because I have to believe that it does.
Oh, hell yeah. But definitely, my buddy Mo just joined, and good timing, Mo. We were pulled over for running. We were pulled over for running. We were pulled over for running on a BIPOC exclusive run night.
Oh, okay.
Oh, great.
I was like, oh, this is perfect. Like, this is a straight up, hey, Mo. Like this is straight up out of like a Netflix show. Like, you know what I mean? You can't script any better, right? There's the cop station down the road downtown. They had a display, or the indigenous community next to it had a display of red dresses hanging from the trees to signify the awareness of missing sisters and women from that community. Sorry, it's a tough one because it's not stopping, right? And we were absorbing, we were reading all the messages from the families. Like, it put a halt on our run. Because we didn't expect that, and that's a powerful impact, right? So we walked away to finish off our run, and a couple of cops were jolting to stop us because someone reported that we're up to no good in front of the police station. I have to admit, I did not hold my composure. Anyways, I did not hold my composure. Luckily, Mo is a lawyer, stepped in front of me, handled it. But I've been raised on being pulled over for who I am. I used to drive sports cars. I used to drive lowriders. That's what I used to do. I used to build cars and build trucks. And I didn't fit the profile that I should be in those vehicles. So I got pulled over for routine checks. I got pulled over for, random spot checks. And I've had guns pulled on me. I've had tasers pulled out on me, vehicle search, all that stuff. So I've been experiencing this for a very young age, since literally 16, all the way up until like a couple of years ago, and yeah, the messages do come in when we were running the BIPOC exclusive run nights. I had to deal with a lot of conversations like, oh, that's racism. Like, no, you can't use that word, because racism word was created on the foundation of the effects it has been on BIPOC people from the white community. You can't flip it backwards. But this is to create capacity. Like, why, everyone should be able to grab a pair of shoes and just run wherever they want. Like, yeah, exactly. We should, but we can't.
Right.
There's about 400 years of reason why we can't. I've had to deal with, the reason why I also run on the trails more on the road is because dealing with racism, things thrown at me, spat at, vehicles not stopping. Of course, they see me, but they want to scare you a little bit, right? It's not a safe space for people, and our conversations honestly are different. Like, we have more cultural conversations. We talk about our homes, we talk about our foods. That run night, it connects more to, and it helps welcome more people. Like, Mo has his own group, I have my own group, and we create space where people are welcome wherever they want to go. At least they have a couple of avenues, right? And we do our best to help continue those journeys with all the support that we can. With a nonprofit, I have a basketball community as well that I built for youths, staff basketball. There's about 300 kids in it, and
basketball.
What's that?
Oh, they just joined Stack Basketball.
Oh yeah, that's our U19 team. Yeah.
That's awesome.
So awesome.
And I started it with a call out for BIPOC kids to provide them with the training, the upkeep of the athleticism through the lockdowns, because I'm not going to get into statistics, but they suffer more without the pandemic, just from the barriers. So I created this BIPOC training program, and I got messages from parents, there's going to be a white training program. I'm like, it's everywhere. Yeah. Anywhere you want to go, there. I don't have to create it.
Right.
And I was told that I just need to stop trying to change people's minds. Like, it's not, and it makes sense, because I have to, because of how I had to live and fight for everything and combat everything. I have that tendency of, we're gonna figure this out, and you're gonna understand what I'm trying to say, but I have to stop for those type of people. So politically correct emails, and like you said, unsubscribe, block, whatever you gotta do.
Yep.
Right. But,
does it
go ahead.
you to do more though. Like it's okay to be PC in the email and then the response. I got it. But once you've hit send and you go back and you talk to Mo and you talk to the kids at the basketball thing, like does it motivate you to want to do even more than you're already doing?
Oh yeah, hell yeah. I call it the fuel to my fire. I say thank you.
Yeah.
I say thank you for reminding me how much harder I have to work now.
Yep.
And that's all it is. That's how I take it. That's how I've had to take it in the past. That's how I've been raised. That's how I've been culturally raised as well. Because I wasn't asking for handouts, but I don't even understand what that is. Like I'd feel uncomfortable. You know what I mean? If something was given to me, right? Like what's the catch, right? Like what am I gonna do? How much do I owe you? You know, like.
Right.
But yeah, it's the fuel to my fire, and working with the kids, becoming a nonprofit and going the charitable direction. It's going to be more youth focused. I immigrate to an area in Hamilton that's known for newcomers, that's known for generational poverty. I moved away to the life thing, college, all that stuff, and my partner and I, we moved back into the same neighborhood, a block away from where I was raised. Nothing's changed. If anything, it's gotten worse, right? So I created this community, Steeltown Athletic Club Stack, to be the change. You can't do this without lived experience.
That's right.
We don't need someone coming in privileged to say, I'm going to come save everyone here. No, thank you. Get out of here. We don't need that.
Yep.
You can donate. Thank you. But
it's why we invite people like you to come on the show with your experience and your history. It's why we have Marcy Braithwaite, who goes by the Fat Athlete, to talk about her experiences. Why we have Brooke Gowdy, who is a African-American female mountain biker, to talk about her experiences, because we don't live those experiences, right? I'm a Puerto Rican kid from New York. I can talk about that. I can talk about sitting at a restaurant and hearing the people next to us say, yeah, I hire those Hispanics to mow my lawn because that's all they're good for. And in that moment, I didn't control myself. I asked the guy to step outside. He thought we were going to fight. And I said to him, just want you to know, not only do I have a college degree, I have a master's degree, and your kids are going to work for me one day. So you need to be careful about what you say and around who you say it, right? I wasn't planning on fighting anybody, but that's the lived experience I can talk about. But that's why we are trying to build this community of varied voices and varied faces so that they can share what they have gone through in their life to hopefully help inspire people that see them and go, if he can do it or if she can do it, I can too. That's
100%. Yeah, 100%. And allyship goes a long way too. Again, there's a couple of streams, and I like to be honest and upfront about that too. There's reposting of things on social media, sharing quotes. That's fantastic. But again, it's the energy. Like, what are you doing? Like, more than that, beyond that, are you jumping in overheard conversations, correcting or asking questions like, yo, that's not right. You can't say that, and able to defend that with as much heart as I would. You know what I mean? I'm lucky to have allies like my friend Martin, and Alexi, and basically there's about 3 or 4 that when I started this run community that realized things need to change because of what people thought was a safe space for them to be racist, discriminatory, turned into them being, that's not right. You can't talk like that. And this person's trying to do some difference in the community. Like, out of the 1,300 people in our online network, I'm happy to have 50 solid people versus 1,300 fakes. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And yeah, whether we have one person show up to a run or 30 people, we treat everyone the same. If we hear we actually have taken care of any. There's a couple of homophobic comments made, and again, they thought it was I guess in a way, a safe space for them to talk like that, or that's normal to them, but maybe they didn't read more about what we're about. That person, I emailed them some resources, right? Some online stuff. Hey, I prefer you to look into these things before coming back to our community because you said some hurtful things to a couple of queer people that were around you, and now they don't want to come and be part of our community because of that, right? And to me, it's up to you if you want to do your homework or if you want to do a change. At the end of the day, don't come if you're not coming back with a different view, because what we're trying to create is 100% different from what's out there. It's not a competition. There shouldn't be a competition for this. Everyone should have this scope. Everyone should have this view. And my Athletics Ontario podcast I did earlier, I called up race directors. Like, I don't care. Like it is what it is. You can't stop me. Like, I'm still gonna run. I got into gravel riding because my friend Martin gave me the confidence to be part of the community, because that's a more of an elite thing, because a bike costs like 5 G's if you want a good one, right? Like, it's not for everyone, unfortunately, right? But he helped me feel comfortable to be a cyclist, right? I have an old bike I was rocking, and then like it was all, I was all ashamed and this and that, and I didn't wear cleats and all that stuff, right? I'm just like, but even at this age, I'm still trying to fit in.
Yeah.
Right. So that's stuck. That's not leaving my head, unfortunately, because that's unfortunately how it's embedded in me now, unfortunately, right? But my goal is to be a person, be a catalyst for people to feel safe, to see what I'm doing to do what I want to do. I did a sky run a couple of weeks back in Calgary, Alberta, and it was scary. It was wild. It is not a trail run.
No.
Yeah, man, it's and like having great partners like Merrill and Lululemon who back me up. I haven't been told no to a single idea or a single something I want to do. And it's not about wearing their clothes or shoes and posting pictures. We talk more about community stuff, more of what's 6 months down the road. What are we doing for the hike group? It's more about building capacity, welcoming that 90% that isn't part of this community, who don't know trails exist, who don't know that cycling could be not just a health benefit, but like a physical benefit as well, or environmentally friendly and option as well, right? We're doing these things not just to create a club. We're doing this to create communities and be the face of it. And like I said, I do this full time now. I quit my day job a couple of weeks ago.
Good for you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm all in. Sorry about the shadow.
It's
all
right.
And I'm all in. Like,
I love it.
You got to make radical decisions to make radical changes, right? And it starts with me. Luckily, I have a supportive home and partner and team, right? We have an amazing board of directors. I have an amazing circle of close friends who I met through the run and cycling community, who back me up and always say, "What do you need? What do you need?" I'm not asking them, "Hey, can you help me?" They're asking me, "What can I do?" I'm like,
that's awesome.
All right, we're good. We can do this. We can do this, right? So.
I'm going to ask this question of Ohm that Vince, you brought up, which is this idea that you've been doing this for a while and you still feel this need to fit in a way. And I would say that occurs to me too. I'm going on 50 years old, right? Like, that mindset is still there. Ohm, you're on the younger side in comparison to me. You're 30. I would assume, maybe incorrectly, that there's been more acceptance in your time in doing sports, but do you find that you are in that mindset of having to fit in, being that you're, of color in endurance sports? days?
Absolutely. I mean, I come from the same background of like having like no handouts, don't even know what that is, having to like fight the uphill battle. And like that's always just going to be something that's ingrained in my head, just wanting to like find a place to like fit in. But at the same time, like the more I do this ultra running, the more I do trail running, the more I'm kind of creating my own space. But I'm also, I agree with what Vincent said about like being the face of, um, it actually brings me back to something Maria said about like being able to see yourself in the sport, Maria Simone. And again, quickly, I want to give a shout out to Merrill Canada. They're amazing. Love Stella. I'm a Merrill US athlete. They cheer us on all the time, so, but yeah, one of the things we always talk about is like, because of like who I am and what I've been through and the blueprint I've created, it is important to be the face of, uh, and represent the sport and what we do. And yeah, I mean, it's I'm always like, there's always going to be something in my head about like trying to fit in. And also, I think this brings me to a question I have for Vincent, but it's also just like, I just did that run in Everest, for the kids of Kathmandu, which, they work with marginalized communities. Um, and one of the things they said resonated with me, the director said to me, was that it's not like these kids are like crying and they're sad all the time. They're living the life that they know, but they're in this box without like, occasionally you'll have that wake up call and you'll see it, but they're in that box. And maybe they don't even realize, like you said with gravel biking, that they have the opportunity to do those things. And that's why it's so important that, the three of us are doing what we do. Because what if that Puerto Rican kid, there's another Puerto Rican kid in the Bronx who sees Jason and he's like, well, this guy just did 250 miles. Maybe I can do something similar, So question I have for you, Vincent, is, working with youth, what are the challenges that come with, like showing kids that these are things that they can do, like these are opportunities that they can pursue and that are within their reach versus like, and that may seem like they're outside their box?
Oh, I have it perfect. Give me one second. I'm just going to turn the light on. It's just got changed in here.
Yeah.
Quick. One second.
Yeah. Loving the conversation so far. I'm
What's that?
loving this conversation so far.
Like the number of ideas that are rattling around in my head right now.
It's like, so it's such a similar, but I love it.
All right.
But
So
oh yeah, go for it.
I tell my story to them.
Right.
It's not an everyday thing, but if I try to show up to the basketball practices as often as I can. And if the group is there, if the energy is there, I explain to them that their ceiling is there. The real ceiling of opportunity is up here, but you only know what's given to you. So if you're a newcomer, you're not going to get a job as a doctor because you were back home. Some are single family homes, some are dual family homes, but they're working labor jobs, minimum wage jobs. Some are players are working to support their families too, right? I was financially independent at the age of 14, right? I put in more hours before I quit my job. I could probably retire twice. I'm not even joking. I used to work 8 to 5 and then 6 to midnight, 7 days a week. That was my normal. And I explained to them that this is more than basketball. What we're trying to do is help create a path for them to understand that they can take what they love and we can help them get into colleges and universities. We have right now 6 of our grade 12 players that we just finished up the season being looked at to go to college universities. these kids did not look at post-secondary because they even said, that's not for us, you know that, right? And so they've been conditioned, whether it was from their home or their circle or just, unfortunately, what this community displays, right? Your parents grind, your parents work. You don't say to yourself, you know what, I'm just going to go spend 80 grand in university, create a whack of debt for a piece of paper, and spend 4 or 5 years doing essays while my family struggles. It's a rare opportunity. I feel privileged that I went to college for a 2-year program and came back. But at the end of the day, I worked hard in the automotive industry where there was a point where I was making more than a doctor. But there was a lot of sacrifices, right? And again, with the grinding culture, I started to realize, like, this is taking years off my life. Like, I'm leaving my house 6:30 in the morning, not coming home till like 7 at night to put in my hours, you know, to climb that ladder. Like, it's not my ladder, it's your ladder, and I'm just working hard making sales so you can get paid. So I'm trying to educate these kids, these young, you know, future, whatever they want to be now. So, you know, we've been doing this basketball thing for 1 year now. Started off with 80 kids last summer, and then I think we have about 300 in our program now.
Damn, man, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Thank you. And all I see is, and we only work in this community, the downtown community, where these that they can't afford registration. The shoes are a challenge. You know, I'm doing low barrier sports, but it's still a high ask.
Yeah.
Because with the inflation of food, the inflation of rent, mortgages, like, what are you going to cut? You're going to cut the extracurricular. It's already statistically known to not be an option. And then our social, our you know, I'm not going to get into the whole housing and food crisis, but that takes a huge hit already. So what can I do? So business mindset clicks in again. We're going to create a free program where families don't have to worry about it.
Right.
They know where their kids are going to be. We're going to be helping them be part of they're going to be part of this culture where we're going to help them understand that there are future opportunities. And we hammer it. And I reshared on our social media on our Stack Basketball, college university resources, applications, just whatever they're doing that can spark an interest. If they're going to be on social media and we're complaining about, oh, kids are always on their phones,
right,
fine, that's cool. That's not going to go away. But what I'm going to do is make sure that this social media channel feeds you the positive information.
Yep.
And I've had several meaningful, deep conversations with some grade 12, grade 13s where, like, they're really mature and they've gone through so much life stuff themselves. Like, I can't even tell you, it's wild. And they're out there balling for 1 hour. That's their release. And when recruits start talking to me and they're talking about, you know, what about this player, what about that player, I let them know of where they're from. Let them know that that's not from a hired trainer. That's not one-on-one coaching. That's street ball. That's grind. That is pure heart because they want to do something with their lives. This isn't a generational process that's been handed down to them. They're trying to become that first generation of change. That's what they're trying to do. And I'm even at that level, at that college, university, recruit, coach level. I'm hammering it into them. Like, we're a different breed. We grind. We play with full of heart. Yes, we're offering them the training. We have just really good trainers. We have coaches, high level coaches, and there's these folks that are coming out to us because of what we're doing. I'm not reaching out to them.
That's awesome.
Because they want to see these kids do something. But without this to exist, their ceiling would still be here.
And we could all day, because there's just such a vibe and a connection between what you have done, are doing, plan on doing. I don't want to keep you for too long. We've been here for 40 minutes, so we're going to jump into our rapid fire questions that typically surround nothing but food. It might lighten the tone of the conversation a little bit, but we also might be fighting about whether or not we agree with each other on our food choices.
All right.
So the first question we always ask is pineapple on pizza, yay or nay?
Extra.
Extra.
Team home.
Can I tell you a list of toppings on a pizza that you have to try, but you're going to be like, what?
Yeah.
Pineapple, mushroom, and
If
feta.
the list doesn't end at cheese, then it doesn't matter.
Love mushrooms, so
Yeah.
I'm on board too.
Pineapple, mushroom, and feta. You got to try that.
Well, I will never try pineapple. No, I don't care what happens. But mushrooms and feta, I could get down with for sure. Or Oreos. Are you an OG original Oreo guy, or do you like double stuff Oreos?
OG.
Yeah.
I'm more about the chocolate part.
Yeah, right? You know what's funny? I've been told, like, people are like, oh, but with the double stuff, you get more cookie. I'm like, the package is the same size. You're not getting more cookies.
I just like the cream part, okay? Give me a break.
Are you a licorice fan? Do you like licorice?
I used to. Just too much chewing.
That's an answer I've never heard before.
Too much chewing.
All year.
I'm gonna optimize my time, you know?
I gotta be the most efficient I can at my chewing. Peeps. Are Peeps a real candy, or is it just dust covered in glitter?
Peeps. Is that those little Easter things?
Or ducks? Are they ducks? Penguins?
They're like birds, but they're like they're marshmallows. They're technically marshmallows covered in like sugar.
Oh.
That does it all.
Yeah, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah, no.
So when you go, do you go camping? Do you go to cookouts, that type of stuff? Do you roast marshmallows, toast marshmallows?
In our backyard. Yeah.
So are you like a lightly toasted guy, or do you like it to look like a charcoal briquette?
You gotta burn it.
Yeah.
Burn it.
Right?
Yeah, burn it. It's all gooey in the middle, and you mix it up.
Yeah, exactly. You pull that little crust off, and then you have all that gooey stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know what's up. Candy corn. Is that a real candy, or is it candle wax covered in sugar?
Oh, there's sugar? I thought it was just candle wax.
Answers.
It stays in your mouth until Christmas. Like, you just can't get it out.
When people are like, I don't know if this business idea will work, I'm like, look at the candy corn. It's been around for decades, and people are still buying it. If you market it properly, people will buy it.
Oh, yeah. 100%.
Peanut butter, or nut butter in general, creamy or crunchy?
Cream.
Creamy?
Cream.
Why? Don't like the texture of the crunchy part?
It's just, yeah, I just like, just smooth. I know what to expect. There's no, like, chunk of peanut in my bite, you know? Again, efficiency, you know?
My girlfriend argues that it just rips the bread. She's like, it just rips the bread. Why would you use it?
That's true.
Hot dog. Is it a sandwich or a taco?
Oh. Damn, okay. Never heard of this one before.
It's a good question.
I'm gonna say sandwich because taco. Here's a big thing when it comes to food, especially Indian food or Mexican food. It's undervalued. It needs to have its own category. It can't be blended. It has its own worth. You know.
I hear.
So it's a sandwich. Let's keep tacos on its own pedestal.
I'm in the sandwich category too, and my rationale was that you've never seen a tortilla that's a half-inch thick on either side.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Red velvet cake, is that a real flavor or is it just chocolate cake masqueraded in red food dye?
Chocolate cake masquerade in red food dye, but I like it.
Fair answer.
Is it your favorite flavor of cake, or is there another cake that you prefer to eat?
I'm all about the chocolate, like triple chocolate, like beyond sweet. You can only have like 2 bites. I'll have like, half a cake.
Yeah. Are you a pie guy? Do you like pie?
Yeah, strawberry rhubarb.
Nice.
And we tried to change it up and make a mango pie one day.
How'd that go?
Like, we need to get more like Fiji culture in pies. And my partner's like, let's do mango pie. I'm like, all right, let's do it. It was good.
Yeah.
It's good.
We'll have to test that out.
Yeah.
What's your go-to recovery food after you're done with either a big training run or a race?
I don't get that hungry after a race, surprisingly. I need to sleep first and then I eat. And I've seen some posts of you guys sleeping during races. But when I am ready to eat, it's usually sunny side ups with rye toast, margarine, salsa, avocado, and mango on the side.
Damn, I just finished running and now I'm twice as hungry as I was before. Do you have a pre-race meal?
Pre-race meal, like the night before?
Night before, 2 nights before, yeah.
I do like lamb, right? I don't eat beef or pork. I'm a Hindu.
Okay.
So, I usually just have a couple of pieces of lamb, and what else? Yeah, and usually like salmon, tilapia, and then like before a race, I just have a banana, like just something small, coffee, some green tea, tamales. Yes, that's a good one.
Can't go wrong with tamales.
No.
Cannot go with tamales.
No, it's a huge thing here.
Are you an ice cream guy? Do you like ice cream? Favorite flavor, being that chocolate cake is number one, chocolate ice cream?
Ooh. Yeah, chocolate, but I do like the peanut butter chocolate, though.
Okay.
Like with the options that are out there, it's like, what else you got? What else can you throw in there,
You go to those froyo shops and you're just pouring everything in all together, right?
I am that guy,
yeah. Oh, I'm with you, Emmanuel. Coffee flavored ice cream is fantastic too.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. It's amazing.
Yeah. So, your background, you're from Fiji, you said.
Yeah.
So, what's a meal or a plate that we need to try out that is it Fijian? A Fijian delicacy, I guess.
Fijian. Yeah.
Fijian.
Yeah. So Fijian. So I'm Indian as well. So we came over a couple of generations ago just through paid slavery. So there's a mix of Indian culture and Polynesian culture with the foods, right? So I grew up on red snapper, fried red snapper, right? And tin fish, right? Which is like mackerel mixed with curry and spices. And tin mutton, which is sheep.
Yeah.
Right. So mixed in with spices and onions and fried up with roti, of course. You gotta have it with roti. But yeah.
Vince, we are going to have to figure out a way to get together because I think one of the best ways to get to know people is through food, breaking, at the same table and having conversations like this. So we'll have to figure out how we either get to Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, or we bring you down to the West Coast and hang out with us over here. Either way will work for us. But thank you so much for not just joining us, but leading the charge in doing what you do and bringing attention to endurance sports and the need for diversity and inclusion, and continue to break down the barriers that people keep propping up for us, because it's important to keep moving forward in this realm.
No problem. I appreciate it, and it just has to continue. And this is going to be a fuel to my fire as well. I'm going to go back. I probably won't sleep until 2 a.m. because it'll just be notepad time, just writing out what the energy that we've exchanged. And I appreciate the opportunity and the time, and just know that this goes beyond our conversation today. Appreciate it.
Just so you know, and for those of you that are following us, this conversation will be on our YouTube channel on Thursday, probably on the website the following Thursday. It'll be on the podcast on what day?
Next day.
Next Monday. So you'll have many opportunities to grab this conversation if you were late to the party. Emmanuel, we see your message there. We'll hit you up to have a conversation with us as well. We'd love to chat with you. But Vince, again, thank you very much for joining us. We know it's late on the east side of North America at this point. So I know you got to stay up till 2 a.m., but sleep well, and we'll talk to you soon, man.
Awesome. Thank you. I appreciate you too very much.
Later. Bye-bye.